This is the Jonathan Shy Podcast, Episode 1, coming to you live from the University of Houston. Today we will be analyzing the Washington Wizards and their future, what they need to do, and yeah. I mean, starting from the top, this season's a lost season for sure. I unfortunately support tanking at this point. I mean, we're not really playing for anything. Wins would be nice, good for morale and stuff, but like at this point, we're not really playing for anything. But it comes to that point where you're like, there's a fine line between winning to be like, next year we'll have a future and stuff like that. Well, okay, that was not worded right. It'll just like give hope for next year, showing that we can still compete with the upper teams with the roster that we currently have. Versus, when we lose, obviously it helps our lottery, and we're trying to get a good lottery pick, hopefully, to help us for the future. Yeah, so I think right now, I was listening to another podcast and it said that we are number 8 in best odds right now. So hopefully we can go higher than that. Obviously, with the ping pong balls, who knows what we could even be first. Wow, imagine having Zion Williamson on the team. Wow, that would be really nice with Beal running up the floor. I'm not too sure if we'll have Portis. Hopefully we can retain Portis and Parker. I feel like they're good assets. Both young with potential. It really comes down to the financials. Financials for sure. Hey, yeah. Zion obviously would be really nice. I was reading a scouting report on him. They're saying, I mean, obviously I watched him. It's the tournament, March Madness. Obviously, we've been following my Houston Cougars very tightly. Been playing very well. We have a tough matchup against Kentucky coming up. But, yeah, Zion Williamson would obviously be a really nice piece just because of his potential, his athleticism, obviously, his build. He has an NBA-ready body. Everyone's seen his vertical. His jump shot needs work. I mean, with time, that'll improve for sure. Yeah, I mean, I think one of the most intriguing prospects that I feel like isn't talked about that much, but I guess he is, because he's like the second fiddle on Duke. I feel like RJ Barrett would be really nice next to Beal. RJ Barrett, Cam Reddish. I like Reddish too. Reddish is more of a. I mean, if I'm thinking about the Kings right now. Williamson. I mean, not Williamson. Reddish is more like the Bagley kind of style. The build. No, actually, they compare Reddish's body to Paul George and Tatum's. Obviously, he's not there offensively and defensively, but he has the body for it. His measurables intangibles are pretty similar. There's still a lot of things he needs to work on, like I just said. His shot, obviously, he's not anywhere near where they are. But then again, all these players are between 19 and 21. They're young. They need to develop. So, yeah, I mean, there would be good pieces, obviously. I prefer RJ Barrett just because of his scoring ability, and the Wizards definitely will need another scorer. I'm not too sure how it's going to play out over the offseason because, obviously, Wall is supposed to come back halfway through the season. Maybe not play at all. There's a lot of off-season things that needs to be looked at. obviously the pick. I think I was listening to another podcast and it said that we only have three players on the contract. I'm not too sure about that. I haven't really looked too much into that. I honestly haven't really been paying attention too much to the Wizards recently, just because of the tournament coming on and how we're not really playing for anything. I love my Wizards, don't get me wrong, but it's hard to follow like too closely when I guess we're not really playing for anything. But overall, I think we still have Mahimi, unfortunately. Howard, I think. Well, I'm going to check that right now. He obviously didn't play much. Let me see. Okay, looks like he's still signed under the 2019-2020 year. Yeah, so Dwight Howard. Oh, I love Thomas Bryant. He still has a lot of things he needs to work on, obviously. I mean, he was kind of just like thrown into the starting role because we didn't really have anyone at the time other than Mahimi, but we all know what's wrong with him. So, Howard, Bryant, hopefully Howard will be healthy. I mean, he's definitely a contributor despite all the, I guess, hate against him. Still a great player. Bobby Portis, I think, will definitely come down to money. He's a great player with a lot of potential. Good offensive game. Defense is good. Good motor. High energy player, for sure. We've seen the good, and there's also been games that he's shot pretty bad. I think it also comes down to some of their, like I did mention that he has good defense, but there has been games, I think, where a bigger, stronger player that's more well-rounded in his game has beat him up a little bit. But he's still young, and, you know, running with Parker a little more and Beal should help him out with Bryant. And then we have obviously we have Troy Brown. He's been playing good minutes recently due to our lost season. But yeah, I mean, who knows with him? He's been playing pretty well. I like his potential. Still needs to work on his offensive game. He's long. He has a good body. He's definitely shown signs. I like what I see. He's not really definitely not really a starter, but at least we still have Green, which is good, I think. I'm not sure if he's still signed. Let me check. To next year. Doesn't look like he is. Hopefully we can offer him maybe like a 3-year. Maybe he'll get paid more. I mean, it really depends on the market, but he's a great player. Even at his age, he's shown that he can contribute with whatever team he's on. Just a good overall player. So him and Troy Brown. Hopefully we'll draft a good prospect. Hopefully like a Barrett. I mentioned Barrett and Reddish. I haven't talked about Culliver, and he looks good. He looks like I haven't really watched him play yet. I will probably watch that soon. Looks like he has a good overall game. One scouting report said that he was maybe one of the best two-way players coming out. So I think what we will probably get most likely is, I mean, it really comes down to where we're picking. Barrett's nice. Rui Hashimura from Gonzaga, he's a good prospect. I know that his offensive game is not really there, but he's been playing really well at Gonzaga. Athletic. He could be good. They list him as a small forward, power forward. Kobe White, obviously we've seen him play. He's a point guard, shooting guard, so he's kind of in that like conversation between John Morant and him. Obviously, I think, and a lot of the country thinks that. I actually don't even think it's not a debate that John Morant is better. I mean, they're both really great prospects. Kobe White's a little taller. It says here on NBA Draft.net, he's actually shot up 20 spots. So I guess his tournament play of recent has been really good. I've been just watching him a little bit, so that's helped. DeAndre Hunter. A lot of intriguing pieces. Keldon Johnson. Nasir Little. I would hope we aren't picking all the way down there, but so tier wise, I'll probably go 3 tiers. So Williamson, Morant, Barrett. Yeah, I would say that's tier 1 for us. I mean, players that we would want. Bruno Fernando, number 9. Cameron Reddish has kind of moved down a little bit. Keldon Johnson's pretty nice. Hunter, maybe. It really depends on where we pick. Obviously, if we're picking at 9, we're obviously not going to have a chance at Barrett or... Yeah, like a Barrett, obviously, or Williamson or Morant. But everything else other than that is pretty... It's not really set in stone, I guess. It also depends more on how these players continue to play. Obviously, Duke is still in the tournament. Gonzaga is as well. North Carolina, Virginia, Kentucky. Yeah, I mean, that's mostly it concerning the Wizards. I might watch some of the last games. I usually just read some of the stuff online because I've been paying attention to the draft. I'm busy with school and stuff like that. So now I'm going to move on to the Houston Cougars. Great win last night against Ohio State. First time in the Sweet 16 since, I think it was 1984, if I'm not wrong. Great win overall for sure. I mean, I was a little worried. I mean, obviously I'm going to be worried about every game because it's the March Madness. You never know what could happen. 74-59 was the final score. Ohio State, the 11th seed. The Houston Cougars, the 3 seed. I mean, Ohio State, I think the thing with them was the March Madness, a lot of it is based on trends. To be more specific, March Madness, a lot of it is based on when you're hot. I mean, you're only playing a game, so even the good teams, the considerably good teams, have bad games. In the tournament, because there's only one game, if you shoot bad, it's not like you can play them next game to fix it up. If you shoot bad and you go down early and you can't catch up, I mean, that's it. You only got a game to do that, so. And Ohio State just beat Iowa State, who won the Big 12. And I thought Iowa State would have been a tough challenge for us. And I was, like a lot of the country, pretty surprised when they lost to Ohio State. But watching the game yesterday, I mean, Ohio State had good pieces. In the first half, they definitely put up a good fight. They were making a lot of threes. Their center, Caleb Swanson, was playing well. He was playing pretty well. Definitely not as well as he did against Iowa State, but he had a decent game. I think we did a really good job switching on him, double teaming him. And the second half, he wasn't really able to do too much. I mean, and then going over to the Houston side. Overall, I mean, Corey Davis taking the lead, hitting the big-time shots. Definitely a lot better compared to, like, well, I mean, it's not good to compare someone to their worst game, but against like Cincinnati, I saw that he was missing a lot of shots, but that was due to his hip injury. Luckily, that hasn't really. It seems like it hasn't arisen again. Hopefully, it never arises ever again. But he's been a huge piece. He was leading us really well. Armani Brooks plays a really big factor. He was doing really well yesterday. I saw he made the first layup. I think he had 2 or 3 3-pointers. Because he's a pretty hot and cold player. He's a streaky player for sure. But when he's on, he's on. When he's cold, he can go 2 for 10 from 3, which can really hurt. Because that's 8 extra possessions that we could have had to do something else. We get fouled, drop to the lane, who knows. So definitely our game against Kentucky will really, Armani Brooks will play a factor for sure. I mean, he did pretty bad against Georgia State. I don't even think, like, he barely did anything. And we still won. So, I mean, it depends. We could use without him, but he really helps. And especially against a team like Kentucky, we need everything we can. We need everything. We need every single point. Every point's going to matter. Kentucky's going to put up a good fight. Obviously, Calipari as their head coach. A lot of tournament experience. And, yeah, I mean, hopefully they don't have P.J. Washington. Everybody knows he's a good player. Makes a big difference. Some say maybe he's the best player, along with, like, Keldon Johnson, I think. Yeah, Keldon Johnson. I know he's a good prospect. They have him at number 7 in the NBA draft.net. And then also our bigs. Breon Brady played really well yesterday against Kasim. Forgot his name. And Fabian White was playing really well. Hitton and Ladiki, Dejan Giroux matter a lot, obviously, off the bench. Both young prospects. We don't want them getting foul trouble. I remember against Cincinnati, his first game he was playing, well, it was the second game. The second game, yeah, in Cincinnati, like the second to last game of the regular season, he was on. He was making all his threes. But I remember in the championship game when we lost to them, he couldn't throw a brick into the ocean. So I mean, he's a freshman. He's learning. But he definitely matters and he definitely helps. So hopefully he's good. Galen Robinson, obviously, he was on.